Welcome to Lovespell's podcast. I am Lovespell, hoodoo practitioner and conjurer of root work, diviner and tarot, light worker, spiritual healer, and advisor, but most of all, I'm brought to you here directly by my ancestors and guides. Up in here, we're going to be mixing up a little potion of love, life, and liberation. Ingredients includes, but is not limited to, a handful of Black spirituality, a dash of mental health issues and how to heal from them, sprinkling in a little bit of Black history with a dollop of getting to know thyself. We're going to be stirring up the pot on all things Black, and this brew is lit and on the fire. So, as we go through this learning journey together, let's set our intentions to awaken the oppressed, address, and digress. Let's talk about it. I often wonder why men with yellow, broken teeth, carless, homeless, jobless, just less, sees me and believes that they can approach me. No, this is not me being in my ego or being cocky. What I'm speaking about is me putting myself on a certain level financially, emotionally, and physically, and some male who has done no work at all on himself, attempting to work on me. It's insulting. Men, you've never wondered why a broken 99-cent store lash wearing sells her food stamps, carless, jobless, homeless, just less woman seems to be on your bumper? She knows how to mimic a self-sufficient woman, yet always seems to fall short once you get to know her. In this episode, we're going to run up on a woman and a man who aim too high yet live life low. We are also going to address why do people attract people who are not equally yoked, and how to spot a I got my life together poser. This episode is called A League of Their Own. Let's talk about it. All I want is a partner who is way out of my league, but also thinks that I'm way out of theirs. And we will live together in perfect, confused harmony with a dog. Right or unknown. Yes, there's a fine line between being egotistical and having a healthy standard when it comes to choosing a partner. In order to have a healthy, realistic outlook of your prospective partner, you must first address your qualities, capabilities, and ability in growth. Most of us have a lot of standards and what we don't want, but little to none about what we do. And if they are, we're usually unrealistic, especially compared to what we are ourselves as a prospect. Ladies first. Often, women will hold a man to a high standard, mostly in finances and usually appearance, charisma, charm, sexual skill level, yes, how he throws that pipe. I am in no way discrediting that these might not be of importance in a relationship, but there is so much more when it comes to what is valuable in a counterpart. A long-standing relationship is not solely based on how someone throws that pipe or them being able to charm you out of your panties. It also sparks volumes about the mindset of the woman, depending on how much of any of these characteristics she holds in high regard. What is often forgotten is the man's intellectual level, his ability to provide stability in a relationship. Is he balanced emotionally and able to express himself outwardly in a productive way that doesn't cause trauma or isn't toxic? Little to no value is placed on these types of characteristics until you are fully engaged in a relationship and it's already falling apart. In this instance, although the male is fully responsible for his shortcomings, the woman is to blame for engaging in a relationship where she has only thought about her superficial desires before she thought about the things that were more realistically important. To be honest, technically, since her superficial desires were met, he was all that she wanted. And in her current state, he was all that she deserves. And don't be fooled. These type of women come in different ranges of beauty, class, and what is considered to be value. And I use value loosely because value is basically considered by societal rules. And depending on where you live in society, determines the value of a woman or what behavior she has that is valued. A childish ghetto woman can be unemployed, or she can work a 9 to 5. She could be a scammer, or she could be one of the people who toot their nose up at scammers. She could be loud, or she could be one of those quiet people who do things and hide their hands. The truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter what she presents to you, it's how she shows up in the end. And it's always the same. To her male counterpart, she will be a burden. She will be the center of chaos, and she will bring drama. Just like the classy bougie woman ends up being more trouble than she's worth, and is draining on the male counterpart's pockets as well as his energy. The only thing he gets in return, besides obviously sexual gratification, is the ability to brag, but it's only to make other people feel good about him, because at the end of the day, dealing with that type of energy does not allow him to feel good about himself. I'm saying all this to say that the physical appearance, the neighborhood, the employment status, nor a person's financial stability is not the deciding factor on who a woman is, or if she's out or in your league. That is the trap or illusion that we've created that keeps you in this perpetual cycle of picking women based on their attributes, what they put out to society, rather than what they actually have as a standpoint. Like what are their morals? What are their values? What is their, are they able to grow? Are they able to see themselves in an objective fashion and be able to change behaviors that once may have been okay, but as she grows are unsuitable for her? If you are not picking a woman based on her ability to grow, and more so based on her ability to manifest or bring about finances, not even knowing for sure how she's actually obtaining those finances until you're well deep in the relationship with her. Maybe you are how she grows finances. And let's say maybe she doesn't need you to grow her finances. Maybe she's financially stable on her own, a self-starter, self-sufficient. Is she the type of woman that's deep in her masculinity and so independent that she does not need a man? And I'm going to throw that out in air quotations as well. Is she someone who has been traumatized and has not effectively healed from her trauma? Is she emotionally balanced? Does she have the ability to grow mentally and emotionally continuously? Or is she set in her ways and I've already decided what type of person she's going to be, and you need to come up to her standard or come up to her level or be the perfect person that she needs you to be while she's already perfection? These are the things that you look for in order to meet someone that is in the same league or is equally yoked with you. A woman who knows herself or is aware of her worth is only half the battle. The woman who can see the worth of a counterpart and knowing that they are equally matched is all of the struggle. Man, where you going? Come back. You ain't off the hook. Let's talk about you for a second. Now, there's two types of men that are in a league of their own. The one who undervalues you, or the one who overvalues themselves. So first, let's talk about the man who overvalues themselves. I'm going to give you a story. I work for a bus company. I won't disclose the direct one, but I drive a bus. And I pick up a lot of men who are in a league of their own. We're just going to say it like that. And I have had my fair share of men who are, attempting to holler at me for whatever reason that they see fit, that should full well know that me and them are not in the same status. So we don't have the same mindset. We are not on the same page in life, period. Not because we're at the bus, although that is a major reason. And if you guys want me to elaborate on why that's a major reason, then go ahead. But it has nothing to do with being a gold digger. It has everything to do with being a certain age and just not applying yourself enough to have basic necessities. But I digress. This gentleman was a middle-aged, maybe a little under middle-aged, like maybe in his 40s, late 40s, gentleman who is visibly homeless. And this man rides my bus every single night. So on this particular night, I guess he was feeling friendly or something. I don't know. Or he wanted someone to talk to. And so he sparked up a conversation with me. Now, I'm not above a conversation with anyone as long as it is respectful and just a friendly conversation. So he was asking me, basic questions and telling me basic stuff or whatever. It was under this disillusion that the parking meter people was jealous of him because he was fixing up his car that did not work. I guess it was probably the car that he was living in, and they stole it. The parking enforcement people. And I'm sorry to laugh, but the delusion was real. But as he's telling me all this story, he's telling me all this stuff about himself, blah, 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 asking me questions, telling me what sign he is, asking me what sign I am, like just stuff. He decides that I am enjoyable to him and that we should go on we should get together, like we should date, like we should get to know each other. How? This is a man who wears multiple pants because he has where to put any pants. So he wears multiple pants and multiple jackets. And he gets on my bus every night to sleep. He has no vehicle. He has no home. And I don't know if he's even showering. He has no cell phone. And I'm trying to figure out, why is his priority at all, or any type of priority? Why is it even on his mind a little bit to be in the dating game at all, let alone trying to date me? It was completely insulting. And I was appalled, like clutch my pearls, appalled. And I'm just, for me, I've been quite honest lately in my life. So I tell him, sir, you keep trying to get my personal information as if we're going to go out somewhere or something like that, or if we're going to date, and I'm not interested in you. You have nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing to offer me. Well, he's like, well, what do you need from me? No, I don't need anything from you. But what I do wish that you do is take care of yourself first. Because if you don't have enough love in your heart to rectify your financial situation that is causing you to be in a point of dire need, that is causing you to sleep on a bus bench every single night, how could you possibly offer me a love that you can't even offer yourself? It's insane. This man is reaching for the galaxy past ours and not even landing on anything, just getting hit and banked all the way down. And this is his priority, or this is one of his priorities, is to be dating or looking for a female. I mean, was sitting there talking to me about how he couldn't find a good woman. Go figure. You're not a good man. But nevertheless, it doesn't stop him for shooting out of his league. I guess maybe he thinks if he keeps trying, then maybe someone will bite. Dating is an extracurricular activity. If you are homeless, dating's not for you. If you are unemployed or do not have any source of income, dating is not for you. If you are emotionally imbalanced or still under trauma, dating is not for you. If you have not worked on yourself, if you have not looked within to find out what is it that you need for growth, happiness, and health, then dating is not for you. There is a plethora of broken, unequipped men going around chasing down, harassing, bothering, and stalking women who are well out of their league, living in this delusional fantasy land that if they keep chasing every squirrel, that maybe they'll catch a nut. Pun intended. That type of man, I don't know if you, write in if you know, but for me, I don't know if you even actually get anything. Do you actually strike at anything? Or, maybe some women that feel sorry for you and want to help you, but a person like that who hasn't helped themselves is not really going to accept the help. They don't really think that they need help. They think that they're at a certain standard already. And whatever problems that they have or whatever things that they may accept they are fault in are not really their fault. It's like you don't have a car because the parking meter lady stole it, not because it was not running and parked on the wrong side of the street. And no, it's that the parking meter lady was jealous and she stole it. That kind of attitude, and everyone's out to get me, and that's why I'm not successful, and it's only a matter of time before it falls in my lap and I will be successful. And it doesn't matter if I don't cut my hair or wash my behind on a regular basis. You should love me for who I am. You should accept me for who I am. And yes, you're beautiful and you maintain yourself because that's what I deserve. But you're a gold digger and you're what do you call it? Superficial if you want or desire the same. If you want to be matched up and equally yoked. One is supposed to accept less than, because they're not less than. It's just your perception, and your perception is skewed. That is the type of delusion that I myself cannot partake in. And I'm just here to let you gentlemen know who are out there chasing down women and you lack these things. Make your priority yourself. Because dating is for grown-ass men who have their stuff together and is looking for a grown woman who has hers together as well. It is not mandatory. It is an extracurricular activity. Now, there's another type of man. This one's the one who has everything together on paper. This is the man who undervalues you. This man is someone who is highly accomplished. He probably has a college degree, maybe multiples. Nice car, nice home, looks good, smells good, has a gift for gab, probably one with the ladies, and maybe a big bite. Yep, maybe a big one. Maybe. Sometimes not. But what he lacks is Emotional stability. He lacks understanding, compassion, love. He has a overactive solar plexus. Now, a solar plexus is it's the point in the chakra that deals with your, I wouldn't say your ego, but your confidence, your self, the fire that makes you like who you are or whatever. It's your oomph, it's your mojo. uh this gentleman is the type of man whose mojo is always on 10. He's gonna come to you, and he picked you out because you may visually represent what he wants or whatever. You may look a certain part. Oh, nails done, toes done, matching colors, hair done, her eyebrows are on fleek. She's got a nice outfit on. Maybe she drives a nice car. Maybe she's a Benz driver or a big truck. I don't know. Whatever floats his boat and finds his lost remote. Okay? But the problem is that once he gets to know you, there's two things that happens. One, once he gets to know you and all the shine has been buffed off of that new ride, once the car is of non-importance anymore, once the home is of non-importance anymore, all of his like tangible, I call them earthly, but like grounded things that he's created, and he has to present his self, his emotional side, his intellectual side, his humor, his ability to, navigate a situation, talk, be present, bring his aura or whatever. When that has to show up, he doesn't have it. And so instead of him having to face the fact that he's not there or whatever, or him working on those parts so he can be well-rounded, that would be ideal, right? To be well-rounded, work on the whole thing. He will find fault in you and try to change the situation where it is you that is unvaluable. You're not it. Yes, you look good and all of that, but I didn't really realize that you're not it, kind of situation or whatever. So he'll be the one to be like, yes, I really like you, but it's crazy because I never really date dark-skinned girls. It's an insult, ladies. It's an insult. Because why does it matter the complexion of my skin if you like me? You like me, you like me. I've never told a man that I really like you, but I did not think that I'd be dating you because you were light-skinned. And if you do say that, ladies, that's an insult. You're letting a person know that you don't value the complexion of the person's skin, and that makes a mark against them. Like, they would be better if they were a different complexion. But you're going to make an exception because I like you. That's not a compliment. That's an insult. Or they'll say something like, I can't believe that you talk like that when you come from such a good neighborhood. Or I can't believe that you speak so well and you come from such a bad neighborhood. As if your educational background or your ability to use diction has anything to do with the concrete that lays under your feet. These statements are meant to poke at the underbelly. It's meant to stir up insecurity in you. Because if you spend your time trying to figure out if you need to fix certain things about yourself because someone has now brought it to your attention, it leaves a space for you to not look at that person's flaws. Look at that person's underbelly. It's like a magician. Abracadabra. Oh, show your hands. What's in this hand? Really, it's me, but it's you. Kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So Um, it's a, bait and miss, a switch and hit. Like, you know, look at my paperwork, but don't look at me. Look over there. Look at them. Don't look at me. Look at them. Don't look at me. Or what have you. And it's a really good trick. And if you are not careful, you can fall prey to the guy that overvalues themselves or undervalues you. Now, there is a difference in having healthy boundaries and just being an egotistical ass. And that type of person that I just spoke about is definitely someone who has unrealistic standards, is an egotistical ass, and is using that to cover up their shortcomings. That's just basically what it is. Yet they do see qualities in you that would have put you on the path to being, to their standard. But the truth about it is, you're the one that is out of their league, and they are trying to convince you that you are out of they are out of yours. Now, I'm gonna tell you another story. I dated this younger guy, and actually we started off as like homie lover friends. And we did that for a while, off and on for, I don't know, about 3 years maybe. And one summer, it was like a hot girl summer or whatever, and I was with him a lot, and we messed around and had a little boo-boo, and something went wrong, and I ended up with a little bun in the oven. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't go on with the pregnancy because it was a tubal pregnancy, and I don't know if anybody knows what that is, but it's basically where the egg does not drop down into the canal or the womb. It stays in the tube, and it can actually kill you. So I had to have some medication to dissolve it. But during that time, I of course had to tell my homie lover friend that I was with child and I was having all these complications. And this person I was very aware that he was childish and not a good candidate for any major relationship. But during this time, I was obviously quite vulnerable, and he was dramatic. He was dramatic. He was a mess. Now, I could see that I think maybe he felt guilty, or I don't know what was the reason why he was trying to turn that situation into a relationship with me. Maybe he always wanted a relationship with me, just never thought that he could pull it off, or knew himself that he wasn't really fully capable of doing such a thing or whatever. And he just felt maybe because it was a vulnerable time that he could try and make work out or whatever. I don't know. I always in the back of my mind knew that it wasn't going to work out. But I was vulnerable and I guess maybe feeling soft, feeling like, nah, I guess I should give it an opportunity, although I'm going against my better judgment, whatever, right? So, boom. We end up in a relationship. I'm throwing air quotes all over that because one, it didn't last but a minute. And two, I was like reluctantly, like, I don't know how you say it, like reluctantly in a relationship with this person. And now, moving forward, we're in this relationship, and the whole time, like, well, as the relationship got further along, I could feel him just being weird, like saying smug stuff, like, about my appearance or about my clothes, or, poking the underbelly, like trying to make me insecure about the way I looked. Which, first of all, I'm older than him, so good luck with that. Second of all, I don't have any insecurities about my appearance. I have conquered anything that had to do with me feeling ugly way back in my preteen days, and you couldn't convince me of me being unattractive no matter how hard you try. You know, I'm solid in that. So I was trying to figure it out. I'm like, why does he keep saying stuff? You know, like little light, underhanded, like, you know, little baby kicks, you know, against my appearance. And finally I was able to get it out of him. He's on social media posting me just like randomly, I guess, pictures or whatever. And he has little females that he had been dating that are still his friends on social media. And for me, I'm not really, I mean, I have social media, obviously, but I'm not someone who pries into someone else's social media. I really don't care who you have on your social media. I mean, for me, if you're insisting on being in some type of relationship with me, then you know better, or you know who is acceptable on your social media. You curb that, you fix that problem, because if it becomes a problem, then you are the problem, you know? So he's getting comments from his ex-girlfriends or ex-lovers, whatever you want to call them, like, yeah, she's ugly, this, and she's that, or whatever. And really it was about my skin complexion, because I only dated light skinned girls. So eventually it took a toll on our relationship, with super air quotes. And I pretty much like backed out of it in the most toxic and ghetto way. I mean, straight drag out fight. Put it to you like this: I tried to run him over with my car. Anyway, this is in my toxic days. Forgive me. But yes. But he was someone who was extremely unaccomplished. This man was barely employed, carless, emotionally unstable and unavailable, and had no ambition in life. And his only ploy, or his only way of coming after me, was to insult my appearance, of which nobody else was complaining but him. There was plenty of moments where he could have utilized what I had to offer, with my knowledge, with my connectivity, with, you know, anything to get a leg up in his world so that he could be equally yoked with me. But instead, he was trying to drag me down to his level because of him feeling unaccomplished. And he allowed for women who he never made anything with, that were probably just as unaccomplished as he is, and he still isn't with to this day, ruin the situation that he wanted to be in the first place. Oxymoronic. I say that story because it's like the person who undervalues you usually is the person who feels the most undervalued in your presence. Now, why do we attract these type of people? Well, unfortunately, there's no way to stop people who admire your characteristics and your qualities from wanting to be a part of it. That's literally what it is. People who see you being charismatic, carefree, happy, giving, joyful, ambitious. And those are all the qualities that everybody aspires to have. But some people just don't have the fortitude in which to do it themselves. So their next best thing is to date somebody who has those attributes and cling on to them for dear life. Right? The problem is that Usually, once they get in the presence of someone like you who has those types of abilities and they don't have the fortitude to keep up, they start to feel insecure and less than around you. And then they have to drag you down or pull you down to their level, which makes the relationship toxic. And boom, bam, thank you, ma'am, it's over. You have to just be aware of what type of people are coming to you and what they're coming for in the first place. One, the person who has nothing going for themselves is not by accident, and it's not because they're a victim. They're that way because they choose to be that way. And at any point, they can choose not to be that way, just as you've chose not to be that way for yourself. The love that they lack in giving themselves is the same kind of lacking love that they'll offer you. And so although they'll be reaching out of your league, it's more so them reaching out of their league for what they don't have, hoping that you'll provide it for them. The person who tries to devalue you and gives you the illusion that you're not in their league is someone who tries to portray this idea of perfection, but there's no one who's perfect, not at all. Know that if you work hard on yourself, build your empire, and cultivate your flaws, you are the light. And although you may attract moths and mosquitoes, when another light steps into the room, you guys both turn night into day. You cannot help drawing in people who love to be in your league. You have to let them strike out. And there's no crying in baseball. You've been listening to Lovespell's podcast. I'm Lovespell, giving you love and appreciation for your listening ear. I feel blessed to have had you as my guest as we stirred up the pot on all this mess. We've awakened the oppressed, addressed. Now it's time to digress. I'll be talking off your ear on the next episode. Bye for now.